Oh, the stuff always happens all at once, doesn't it? So, Netflix has been dropping like a ton of trailers and clips and first looks and behind the scenes, whatever, just all day today. And I didn't care about most of it. I cared about a little of it, and I decided I'm only going to do one reaction. And I think we're all lucky for that because that means that I didn't do a live reaction to the Cowboy Bebop opening credits, and you didn't get to see me run through my entire thought of, is this the actual opening credits? Oh my god, if it is, this really feels off not being animated and being fluid in live action movement. If it isn't the actual opening, it's really cynical. Actually, if it is the actual opening credits, it's cynical anyways. This thing really isn't going to try and be its own thing. No sign of Ed. Did I see a dog? I can't remember if I saw a dog. Oh god damn it, there's Vicious! No! And so there you go. There's your little recreation. Vicious is the worst thing about Cowboy Bebop. I will not be taking questions at this time. No, what you're going to see me react to live instead will be the Sandman first look. And I am very curious about this. Here's what I'm most interested to try and get a handle on. How much is it going to deviate from the original? Because honestly, I want it to. That's not to say I don't love the original. I do. I love Neil Gaiman's Sandman deeply. But we already have a super accurate adaptation with the Audible full cast audio thing that is ongoing. And obviously I know visual medium is a little bit different than audio medium, but like the main thing that would have been added by doing a straight as loyal as possible adaptation, i.e. the performance of actors, we're already getting elsewhere. Are we seeing them? No, but like you're hearing, you get what it was going to be, what it would be like to just take the original text and have it performed. So I want this to be something a bit different. Not that I want it to like be completely different, but I don't want this to be the most literal recreation possible because they're already doing that. I want something else here. What do I want exactly? I honestly don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to offer up. So I guess we should go ahead and take a look at this thing.
Tonight, we will achieve what no one has even attempted. We will summon and imprison death.
Now, the Charles Dance, good pick. I did know the cast, but I don't remember a lot.
Made from a stone. I give you a feather.
I feel like they're mostly going to be teasing the opening premise.
I give you the blood from my veins. We summon you together!
I mean, it's decent, but like, this scene is not the most unique thing to show off.
Family,
like
desire, destiny, despair.
Which one have I got?
Dream. You're gonna need all the help you
that.
can
That
get.
was a good shot. Ooh, man, he's gaunt. Phew. Okay, so that is honestly very little to go by. I will say this. At the very least, this gives me hope. That's not a direct translation of the visuals of the comic book page. So at the very least, they're not Zack Snyder Sandmanning this, where they are using the comic book as a storyboard and are looking to recreate the images as much as possible. I'm really glad they didn't do that. I don't want to go off too much on my issues with that approach, but, you know, images specifically tailored to work on a page aren't always going to translate in the first place. Besides, you're much better off building something from the ground up that is going to be those moments, those elements, but built and designed from the beginning to be visual in the way that motion picture and television is and the way that comic books aren't. So that's good to see. He was really like, ooh. I guess Dream is kind of gaunt. But I don't know, there was something about seeing an actual person looking like that, as opposed to chalking it up to the stylization of an artist that was just kind of unsettling. And I actually mean that in a good way, because one of the things that the Audible adaptation reminded me of is how many flat-out horror elements are present, especially in early Sandman. A lot of it is actually pretty terrifying and pretty horrific. And that's faded in my memory with time, and also part of it has to do with the specific medium. Like I said, the visuals for the comic can be a bit horrific, but because it's art and you chalk a certain amount of what you're seeing up to artistic interpretation and stylization, things like how, you know, sunken-cheeked he looked and all that stuff, I didn't think too much about on the comic book page, but seeing an actor looking like that, it's like, that feels wrong. And like, I feel like seeing a member of the Endless should feel kind of wrong, especially Dream, with how distant and unapproachable his whole vibe should be. So that was pretty good. Most of the rest of that, there's not too much to go by, because like I kind of said while it was going on, that opening scene and that opening premise is not exactly the peak. It's not the most original stuff that the story has to offer. It's a solid setup, but there's nothing about that that's going to feel like, ooh, I've never seen that in a visual medium before, because, you know, I have seen cultish TV shows and movies and summonings and whatever. So it's a scene that I guess in a way kind of leans on the more gothic horror roots that early Sandman was much more mired in. I say mired as if it was kind of stuck there. Like, that's just kind of where it started, and it evolved a bit as time went on. So that stuff, while seeing Charles Dance do it, and his voice really good for that was solid casting there. Nothing too much about that gets me pumped. And because it's only dealing with that opening bit, which I would expect the opening premise to be the same, I can't tell yet from this if it's going to give me what I want in terms of that feeling different, feeling not exactly like a recreation of the comic book. I'm gonna have to wait for more material to come out before I will be able to make a call on that. But for right now, that's decent. That's kind of where I'm at. I can't get pumped because there isn't enough there for me to really chew on and really sort of dig into. But for what it is, and having seen the cast, like I said, I forgot that was Charles Dance that they cast, but like having seen the cast list and liking pretty much all of it, I am on board for this, and I'm going to be curious to see what other little glimpses we can get ahead of time, especially in terms of some of the specific ways that they're going to show us these characters, how they will look, how they will read visually in live action moving. I am going to be curious to see that. Can I be honest though? I kind of hope they don't show us Death until the show comes out. I kind of don't want to see Death until she's just there. I don't think they'll do that. I feel like she's too popular a character for them to pull that move on. But I'd really like it if they did. Ah, well. Sandman, first look. What'd you think about that? Or what'd you think about the Cowboy Bebop opening credits thing that I rambled about before? Vicious sucks. Okay? He just does. He doesn't belong in that story. He doesn't fit. He is such a generic anime villain, and he does not feel like he's part of the world. He feels like he wandered in from a completely different anime. All right, that's it. I'm done. Moving on. What are your thoughts on anything that I've talked about? Whatever they are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Got a Patreon. That's how I pay my bills. How this entire operation is supported. No big pressure there, though, because we take a relaxed attitude around here, so you can just come on back next time you need a break. This video wouldn't have been possible without the support of my patrons, and I want to give special thanks to Jared Boyce, MJ, The Doctor, Tracy Scrabbit, Vincent Paul Bartolucci, Kaylin Schwartz, Edelon, Robin Moore, Ross Schultz, and Shayla Gorley. Thanks so much.